have a quorum.
I was gonna say, we need to start moving you guys back into the other room again.
We have
Let me get the door area.
extra stuff going on tonight, so
Yeah.
we'll get
I
things
can
going.
get it.
Karen, thank you.
Welcome, Sean, welcome, Kirsten. How do you want to, one thing I thought we could do is just go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves. Greg, you want to start?
Greg Dakota. Stephen Lee.
Karen Jagir.
Elaine Farmer.
Paige Williams. Kit Waters.
Cindy Peterson.
Stephanie Vivek.
Larry Casey.
Dasha Bulata.
And for clarification, Elaine is a volunteer. You are a volunteer, and Paul is a resident of
Baldwin.
the Baldwin community and comes to our meetings on a fairly frequent basis.
Representing the entire town of Londonderry. I mean, all citizens kind of go through you tonight.
I thought you were all volunteers, but anyway.
All right, so you guys saw me here last time to talk about the general ideas of the strategic plan and the implementations and everything. Sean explains the overall impact of this far better than I do because he's much more experienced with it. So I'm going to let Sean talk about kind of how this, we talked about developing those objectives, and I asked you guys to think about kind of what you think the objectives for arts in Londonderry should be. And we talked about objectives, action items, and KPIs, right? The kind of big overall goals, the steps you take to get there, and how you know you're getting there, like how you measure that. But I'm going to let Sean talk about really where this plays into, once we develop this strategic plan, that's again 1 year actionable stuff that you actually are gonna do. It's not a wish list, it's sorry, just accidentally quoted Taylor Swift. It's actually like a plan of tangible things that you're going to accomplish in a year that then become linked to your budgeting. It becomes linked to the decision making that you make for that entire year, because the idea is that the council will sign off on these. And arts, culture, obviously, is a component that should be in there. I think this is one of the biggest rooms we've had for even talking about this with boards and committees, which is great. So I'm going to turn over to Sean to talk a little bit about the process that he goes through and where it ends up.
So I'll start at the 60,000-foot level. Towns in New Hampshire, and they call them master plans. Other states have comprehensive plans, they call them, if you're familiar with if you're from another state. So master plans are 10 to 30 year plan. They're mostly land use, transportation, things like that. They're much bigger picture type of items. And quite frankly, a lot of communities have them because they're required to have them, and they sort of sit on the shelf, and they collect dust, and they look nice. Yeah, we got a plan. Nobody knows what it is. Those to me are if you do it that way and that's how you treat it, then it's of no value, quite frankly. You spend money to develop it. They're cookie cutter, they all look the same. I want to change that because I think the master plan is important. I think it's, we need to make sure that it's a living, breathing document. Strategic plans are a little bit different. Other than the City of Lebanon, I don't think any other municipality in New Hampshire has one. There are places like Germantown, Tennessee, Fort Collins, Colorado, Union City, California, Decatur, Georgia. Those communities have what's called a strategic plan. Strategic plan is a 1 year plan with a 2 year look ahead, and it's more the operational level type items. But the purpose of the strategic plan is to drive the community, its government, to achieve certain objectives. It has to be real, has to be realistic, not a wish list, but a realistic thing that we're actually going to do. And the governing body is in this case, our council, says this is what our strategic plan is. Go forth and do these things, town manager, staff, boards, and committees. And the way you develop this is every board and committee provides feedback, every department provides feedback, and we do a lot of citizen engagement to do that. And we do it every single year, we update that. And it kicks off the budget process. These are the priorities, therefore the money should be dedicated to those items. So, that's what I'm trying to do here. This is what the City of Lebanon's look like. Ours will be different, right? They have different objectives, things that they value. That isn't necessarily what we value here. It's not necessarily, it's a different community, different part of the state, so on and so forth. But it kind of gives you some idea, that recreation, this is where, they have 10 functional areas, we may have less, whatever, right? We'll figure out what those are when everything comes together. But arts is important to them, And they have a number of objectives when it comes to art. In fact, we changed the name of the Recreation Department to Recreation, Arts, and Parks. And they have an arts commission, similar to what you folks have here, and they spend money on those things. So anyway, and that's important. If you've got objectives, that, you know, that's where you should be spending your money. And then here, there's linkages to the master plan throughout, where it's appropriate. And over here, it talks about the city departments, the boards and committees, and then the community partners that are involved with achieving this functional area. And if you wanna just drill down to some of the, so here's some examples here. Let's see if we can get some of the art ones so they can
Sure.
get a direct relationship. Let's see.
Infrastructure,
Here
here we go.
I don't wanna contaminate your mind, but these are some of the things that they have, right? Increase volume of public art, and they have a public art policy, and very extensive plans and review processes for that, and they have a fair amount of public art. Engage with private arts organizations. They have an arts district. They have performing arts, music arts, and they have buildings and, you know, museums and all of that right in their downtown area, and you could do an arts walk. We have stenciling on the sidewalk with poems and all of that, so it's an experience when you go there to be able to do that. It's not just one thing, there are so many things going on, sculptures and all that. So these are some of their objectives here. You can drill down and show them what a drill down looks like. So this is what you get. Just go back up there a little bit. So it identifies it. This particular one is in progress. Sometimes they might be stalled or completed. You just scroll down a little bit further here, and then it just gives you some arts up. It tells you about who's responsible for the different functions, and they're measured. We look at this on a quarterly basis to see if we're actually achieving those objectives, and if not, why not? You know, why are we stalled on this particular item? It's a dashboard that the city manager, in this case, gets to be able to see, to find out where we're at on those. And when he meets with boards and committees and staff, why are we not moving forward on this? What's the holdup? A lot of times it's money, right? Other times it's just bureaucracy. Let's get it out of the way, get this done. Yeah, those are all, like I said, their status is all in progress here, so nothing appears to be stalled on this particular one.
We could actually go to the top and see.
Yeah, they'll use a dashboard here. 6 objectives, 32 action items, 0 have been completed thus far, they just updated theirs, and none stalled. And then KPIs, key performance indicators, because we measure what we do. If you don't measure it, it doesn't get done. And then 2 completed, and then it shows KPIs, 2 completed, and then 3 stalled KPIs.
I think ours is probably gonna be a little bit more streamlined than this, particularly for the first one,
Yes.
in terms of, we're not gonna be quite as numbers for it up top, but we are going to track and measure all of these things, so.
Yeah, they have more staff than we do. They have a chief innovation officer, and she built this. This is all built on artificial intelligence, and we're not at that stage yet. It's important because otherwise you sort of disappear in the budget. It's like in this way, it gets to be front and center again, because every single year, remember, we talk about this, and we're gonna follow a very similar schedule what they have in April. We're gonna be reviewing the changes for that particular year. We're gonna be talking about those, and the council will approve it in May, and then we kick off the budget process. So it makes sure that you folks are part of that, and you're not somehow forgotten.
I wanna see if I can actually show you, cause I wanna show you what, so we've built out, did I log out, darn it? No, I didn't, okay. If I can get into my OneNote here, I can show you what it looks like, what a built out one would look like for, like the assessing department, which has nothing to do with you whatsoever. But
So while she's doing that.
yeah, you keep talking. This is
Yeah.
gonna take me a minute.
So, what we're looking for from you, we want the input as to what those objectives should be, what should our goals be, especially going into the next year and then looking forward to that. Maybe we have a 10-year plan that we wanna have, but what are we gonna do in the next year to get us forward, moving forward in that direction? And then we can measure, and then if it gets stalled, we can say it got stalled because of, we lost funding from the state for whatever. As you know, I added that back in the budget for
Yep,
this year.
thank you.
It still has not been cut yet, so that's a good news. And, you know, so that's just an example of what might happen. Yeah, see, this is a more streamlined version for what what we're operating on here.
I never use this one, so I never use it online. But yeah, so when we went through, we came up, this was our initial brainstorming up here, right? So we talked about it. The stuff in yellow is when I took what we talked about with assessing back to Sean. He added some of those things, and we had really kind of basic bullet points the first time around. So those were just the big ideas. And then I went back and sat down with Laura and Amy, and we built out kind of a much more extensive one. So we have all our objectives, and we used kind of these things called lean principles. So when we talked about the objective, they said what they want to do is like, well, why aren't we doing it now? Why can't we do that now? Why can't we do that? And that's how we came up with the action items. And then we came up, how would we know we did that action item? How would we know it's actually complete? And actually, KPIs can be binary, right? They can be like, well, it exists or it doesn't exist, right?
Mhm.
But in other ways, it's like, well, how much is considered success? Because not everything is yes or no. So you'll see some of them, like the first one, there is a flow chart. The flow chart exists or it doesn't. That's success or not. But down here, it's like an average of 40 properties per week. That's going to take a while to build up and measure over the course of the year. So KPIs are just, for a lot of years, they might be, is it done? But it also could be things like attendance, number of new public art installations, policies written, promotion. It could be any number of different things, right? And that's kind of up to you what you think success would look like for your organization based on where you are.
Now, this is a board, right, as opposed to a committee. So would you expect the same from a committee as you would from a board?
Well, yeah, no, it's the same, they're the same as you.
Yeah.
They do the same work. The only difference is, any public art, you have to fill out an application and you would approve it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't do that, I have them do that, cause I'm not an expert in art,
Right.
they are.
Yeah.
So you could do that, we could do that here. Any public art installations we're gonna put on our performances get approved by this, you're the same as they are, no different, other than they've got money. That they commit to it because they value what the arts provide, right? We'd have to, people would have to come to that conclusion that's important here.
So what happens if the goals are not met? Like there's too many barriers, or
Yep.
because everyone's a volunteer, so like life stuff happens and we can't.
Yeah, you don't have any staff, they have 6 full-time people up there in the
Right,
recreation
yeah.
or parks department.
Wow.
We don't even have a full-time person here.
Like we can make a realistic, reasonable goal, but there could be a number of reasons that it's not met that maybe are not quite within our control. Like I hate.
So you have to reassess where you're at and what can we do.
Yeah.
What I don't want is all this list of things that we realistically cannot do,
Right.
right? So let's take it small, what do we wanna accomplish in the next year,
Yeah.
right?
Like what's
it's-
already in our roadmap,
Some may be simply sustaining what we already have, we don't
Right.
wanna lose the concerts on the common, right?
Mhm.
And we already got a cut at the state funding, I put it back in the budget, and so far nobody's touched it, right? But we wanna make sure we sustain that funding. And what other things do you wanna do? And that's really where you need to tell us, what are the next thing? If they build sidewalks anywhere in this town, we should require that there's gonna be a stenciling program, you do a polling cut, and that's easy to do, it's stamping, it's nothing, right? I mean, so we put a policy in place, if we're gonna do that, that's what happens. If we build retaining walls, it's gonna be public art, we'll commission it, a lot of times people do it for free. They have a tunnel, goes underneath the entire downtown, it has artwork all the way up and down there, different types of art. They've got metal art, they've got murals on there, and they've got people that come in and do that. We paid for some of it too, but others, the school did it. School kids came in, they did the artwork, and there's music in there and everything else. It's a tunnel, it's an old railroad tunnel, it's kinda cool, but it's all part of that experience. So one thing at a time, what can we realistically do with what limited resources that we have? And a lot of that, you get donations. People, when you start to build this, people say, I wanna donate to that, that's really cool, But you're gonna have something to start with and get it going. So,
Yeah.
you gotta figure out what you can realistically do.
Well, I think we can take an inward look at what we've been doing, what our aspirations are in terms of future programming, but if we want to leverage other boards and committees in town or other organizations, and I'll just throw out a possible example. How do we collaborate? So, for example, the rail trails are a real asset here in town, and
Yes.
every time I walk down the one going out to the airport, I always think this would be a great place to display public art. that's under the purview of the Londonderry Rail Trails organization. So how do we expand beyond our current scope to embrace people that we might wanna partner with?
Somebody did that too, they wrote a poem and then, I think it was like maybe, I forget the street, where I walked the rail trail, and somebody wrote one on there.
The Derry Rail
Derry-
Trail
Derry.
has the road not taken.
Yeah,
Right, but somebody did ours though, somebody
Really?
did with chalk.
Recently?
They wrote a poem on there, which
I didn't know
was
that.
really cool.
Yeah.
It probably got wiped out the next rainstorm, but it was kind, so, you know, people were stopping, and I wasn't the only one stopping and reading it, and it was kinda neat.
Well, it's really cool on the Derry Trail, so I
Yeah.
see what
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah, so I mean, those little things, what's it cost for a piece of chalk, right? And if we're willing to, allowing someone to do that, and you can encourage people to go do that, you start a program to do that, and you approve that, and that's something to look forward to when you walk the rail trail the next time. Simple things like that. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of ideas. Who was the Bloomberg? He has a whole manual on public art. He spent a lot of money to do that. We used a lot of that to develop our policy. A whole lot of ideas on how to do that. Roadway markings and things like that.
this is Michael Bloomberg,
Yes,
when he was mayor of New York
yes.
City.
Well, his foundation.
His
after-
foundation, okay.
Yes. So just, there are things, a lot of them don't necessarily cost money, or they cost very little money, or you can get donations to do them, but they really add to your community
Yeah.
if you're interested.
So back to my original question, if we wanna do something like that, is it up to us to approach, the Trailways folks and?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But maybe one of those objectives is to establish partnerships with other organizations to explore options for public art, right? And, one action item could be set up meetings with organizations, and your KPI is meet with one organization a quarter, right? So that's incredibly doable, right? You find 4 organizations, could be Woodmont, it could be Rail Trail, it could be whatever. And just have the conversations. Maybe you're not ready to get to the point where you
Right.
start supporting it in a year, but the objective could be literally spend the year data gathering. Another objective could be to write, or another part of that could be another action item, write a public art policy. We got a great one to start from. So if that's a priority for you, and we're just using this as an example, if that's something that you wanna do, that's how it would fit in there, right? And remember, you're not alone. You could approach Trailways, but can certainly, you wouldn't be out on your own, Arts Council has to handle this all. No, you'll see very few objectives in here that don't have at least 2 partners on it too.
Right.
And so and honestly, and that's how we get Londonderry Trailways in here the next year, is one of these organizations writing these too, right? So that's how we build it out into the whole community, because really this is for the whole community, it's not even just for boards and committees, it's for Londonderry as a town.
So I'm gonna ask an awkward question.
I love it.
but,
Fire away.
when we are trying to, envision programming, we're
Mhm.
always looking for resources that we can leverage
Mhm.
to make it a reality. And the school facilities come into play, Stephen, make sure that we have a backup for
Mhm.
concerts on the common and that sort of thing. What's going on between the town and the school district in terms of collaboration around that kind of stuff?
It's getting better right now. We're trying to build a building at the back of this building here,
Yeah.
so we're gonna be sharing space
The
together.
other one that should have been built when the police station and the town hall was built.
That one.
Perhaps, but we're,
Yes, that one.
that's gonna allow us to be even more close together.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in the same building
Yeah.
here, so I think it's gonna be a lot of opportunity. We're gonna be sharing space like these conference rooms now, so we don't have to build new conference rooms. We're gonna, we're able to make that building smaller now because they're gonna use our conference room, share them with us.
Mhm.
They're gonna use our break room instead of building their own, and so I think there's gonna be a lot more collaboration
Good.
with them. And they have an interest in participating in our strategic plan. Bob Slater was at the stakeholder session we had
Mm.
the other day, and he wants the school involved with that, which is really good.
That's good.
It was tough in Lebanon because they had everything else going on. They're like, we'd love to be part of it, but we got all these other things that we're doing that we just, we can't jump on board right away with you on that.
To your point though, Larry, where you talked about that, working towards clarifying that, space sharing, priorities and relationships, this is the second time I've had this conversation today. Earlier I was talking with Doug Cole from the Recreation Department about determining space use and how we work with the schools and how we work with community organizations, right? So if this comes up as one of your objectives, we're gonna notice that, hey, guess what? This is also one of the recreation department's objectives.
Mhm.
And so this becomes now we're starting to think how we organize them into these functional areas. And if enough people say it, use of space and, town space and facilities becomes a whole functional area, right? And then so your thing is, you're now one of a much longer list in that one, and it doesn't even live with arts because it's part of a broader conversation. Again, it's all highly theoretical, but this is an example of how, to your point, you're one organization with volunteers who do a heck of a lot. You're not on your own on this, by far. So this is how it kind of plays together.
I have a question.
Yeah, Paige.
So this is because this is kind of the first year that we're implementing this, are the objectives meant to be a little bit more broad in terms of how are we organizing things, what would we like to see, what would we like to start tracking, or are the objectives really going to be focused around either existing or kind of new programming that we're interested in pursuing? It sounds like a couple of the objectives we've talked about so far are a little bit more logistical, and they could apply kind of broadly to several different programs, so I don't know if it would be better to bucket them in that way, like facilities management, or making sure that we're partnering with the right stakeholders that we need to partner with for new programming, or if it should kind of be like, how are we going to promote visual art publicly? Here are the following things, and then build action items out of that specific programming objective.
It's more like what you just said there.
Okay.
So in order to do that, in year one, to achieve that larger objective, we're gonna do this. First part might be, like you talked about, assessing what's available, what are our options. Then we're gonna file a report.
Okay.
Then we will accomplish that task.
Okay.
And check that one off. Now report tells us, okay, the next thing we're gonna do is A, B, and C. Well, we can do A and B, but C we don't have the money for.
Okay.
So we're only, in year two, we're gonna do A and B.
Okay.
And we don't know how we're gonna get to C yet,
Okay.
right?
So as an example, establishing a rapport with the Rail Trail organization in Londonderry would be an action item under a broader kind of expanding visual arts in the town type thing.
So what we would do is we'd say, by the end of the first quarter of that year, we will meet with the Trails group and discuss where we can have symmetry, where we can work together to do
Got it.
this.
Okay.
So that would be in Q1, and we
Okay.
would, that's a KPI, by the first quarter of the year, we're gonna meet with them and see where that goes.
Okay.
And then there's gonna be a report out, the status report on that is,
Okay.
met with them, they're not interested, or they're very interested in that. Next step for us, by the end of Q2, is we're going to figure out what sections of the rail trail, and maybe we can get some poems on the trail, maybe we can get some signboards that have some things on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just making things up,
Yeah,
whatever
no,
it
that's
is.
great. Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful.
Yep.
Thank you.
And it might be that, you set these very achievable objectives, and one objective, you may be like, you might find out that like Trailways is super into this idea, and then it launches. You can go behind. It's not like you check the box and you're done. If you don't want to be done, you can keep going. This isn't meant to keep you from doing all the fabulous work you do, right? So we just want to make sure that when you're planning, you're like, all right, these are reasonable and accomplishing. And this year is going to be setting a lot of groundwork. This one right here, for example, in assessing, cyclical inspection of all town residential properties occurs on a 5-year cycle. That's the goal. That's the standard right now, right? But because of a number of different reasons, operational, number of staffing, turnover, other projects, they haven't been able to meet that. So that basic service provision is their objective. But now you can see that if they can do this, years 2 and 3, expand the cyclical inspections to commercial properties, because right now they're doing residential. So then if they perfect this, looking forward, that's where they see they're going down the road. So what you
Okay.
said there, like, start with what is linked to your current goals, what things are already on your plate. It can even be something like, ensure the bandstand is in sufficient condition for every Concerts on the Common program. Like, if you don't have the right, for example, I'm trying to think of like, we talked a little bit about future promotions if you got bigger sponsors and all that. So it can be small things like that too that are important that you want to accomplish and that you want to draw attention to. And that's the other thing. This is going to be published. This is going to be out there. So the things you want on here are the things that you really want to make sure that you have community awareness, council backing, and that are revisited publicly.
The way to look at it is a new person moves to town. What is my town doing? Where is it going? The things that I think are important, are they actually accomplishing that? Is if I want to look at arts, If I wanna look at recreation, if I wanna look at public works, transportation, what are they actually doing? I see a lot of traffic issues out there. Are they actually doing something about it? Well, here's what we're doing. Here's the objectives. Here's the status of those, so you can see where that is. And if you want change, you say, you know what? I want more arts, or I don't think we should, or we should have less arts, whatever it is, at least people will know where that is, what our status is and what we're trying to do.
It's more, by the way. Anyway, sorry. It's me.
So would this be online then and updated weekly or?
It won't be updated weekly, usually on a quarterly basis, it goes
Oh,
up.
okay.
Yeah.
Quarterly, okay.
So like Lebanon just updated theirs, and you can actually see it's on their homepage right now. And then if you go to it, you can kind of see all the different components there. Towns do it differently. At this point, it's likely gonna we're not gonna have a fancy separate platform yet. I'm still threatening Sean with one, but for now, we're gonna have it hosted on the website. So when you go on the website and search it, you find it, and we'll do a PDF style one in here too, right? So people will be able to read it, and they'll be able to download it and print it if they want. But you know, we're gonna keep it on there visible, and we're going to keep coming back to it. It's not gonna be a document that gets put in a box for the year, and then when we come back next year, we'll be like, oh yeah, did we do
Well,
this?
it's part of the budget process, because
It's not a New Year's
that's why I'm saying in
resolution.
April, you got the workshops, we look at where we are, how do we do? So there's two separate special meetings the council will have for the workshops. And then in May, after that, they will approve the strategic plan and say, okay, move forward and build the budget based on these objectives.
Will failure to convert KPIs result in less funding?
No.
Okay.
It's not so much less funding, they may say, you know what, this objective we wanted to accomplish, and this goes sort of to George's point, we don't have the money to do that, because of whatever this happened, we're gonna have to hold off on those objectives.
Okay.
We're gonna have to delay those for at least another year, or whatever the case may be, because we gotta do these things, these are the priorities. So everybody knows what they are, but at least they're not forgotten, and we can see what they are, but everybody can say, yeah, they're on hold.
Okay.
Because of these other things had to get done, whatever it may be, we had to make strategic decisions, which happens all the time, as you all know. Or we have to find another way to get them accomplished.
So say, for example, you had an objective on there that was to, fund a, public art contest for students, right? But Wild Apples takes off and you figure out you need to print another run of Wild Apples magazines, right? Or, for example, you print a run of them and it comes in with a mistake and the printer won't fix it and you have to pay for another run. Well, now that took away your funding. That's an example of what you report out on, right? But it's not going to be nobody's going to look at that and be like, well, okay, you obviously had to shift to your other strategic priority, that it's an ongoing one that people expect, understood. So, but it's also a good way to track when these things happen and figure out what the challenges are and what's keeping you. Because we all think we know what's keeping us from achieving our objectives, and you guys are excellent at achieving yours generally, but it lets you kind of lay out for other people, well, if you want this, here's what needs to happen. And it might always be money too, that's the other thing. It can be time, it can be volunteers, it can be space, it can be awareness, and so this will help with all of those goals. But yeah,
So we're starting this for FY '27,
yes,
and that
so
starts.
July 1st, thank
July,
you.
okay.
Yep.
And Kirsten, you said you'd be back with us in March.
Well, I'll come, so,
Why don't you lay out our next steps?
you read my mind, Larry, it's pretty awesome. Alright, because I'll admit, I have been negligent in sending out these materials to you. It's been, had a couple things going on this December. This is a sheet that is just, it's a worksheet for you to kind of lay out your ideas, right? So I'll send this out to you. And what I would ask you guys is to just think about personally, what are your priorities, right? And then maybe if you're amenable to it, I can come back in February and kind of gather those ideas for you, talk a little bit about them, answer any questions while you're thinking about them. And then we can come back in March and make sure we have them really laid out clearly. The reason for that is that April is when we want to do 2 public hearings in front of the council, and hopefully ask the council, for the public to speak up and weigh in, and ask the council to pass it in May. We're looking to do,
Those are workshops, the public
Sorry.
hearing is.
is
in
May, sorry, that's right, public workshops, that's right.
The workshops are in there, so that's where the council, you would come up on the arts items and you would talk to them about these objectives over there. And they would ask questions back and forth, and then, again, they're gonna hopefully vote in May to approve these, or say, no, we can't do this one, can't do that one, but we'll go along with this one.
We have 2 more public sessions scheduled. We did one in December with a kind of economic development focus. The next two are more kind of open resident concerns, and then we're also looking to do a couple more smaller, really focused ones, one on maybe senior life and, you know, senior affairs, and then maybe do an offsite one perhaps at the Baldwin. So we're looking to do, and that's kind of like almost like the newcomer's perspective, right? Like newcomers to Londonderry, like what do you see, what brought you, you know? So we're looking to gather all that from the public as well. And we got some great input from our first session, some really good solid input. Our departments have come up with input. And one of the most heartening things is that we're very rarely hearing two vastly opposing sides. Like people seem to actually have more of a shared vision than they might think. And that's been kind of a really positive thing through the year. So when we come out with this, in the end, I think people are going to look at it and be like, okay, well, maybe that's not my thing, but overall, I can see where it's going. So,
Well,
Yeah.
you're looking at me about meeting those timelines, but I'd like to poll the group and get your input on starting to work on this with a deliverable in February.
and I mean, I'm literally just like, when I say come back in February, if you have if you're thinking of like one thing that is really important to you, think of your current priorities, right? Think of what you're currently doing. Something that all last year, right? When you were doing all the stuff that you did last year and you're doing Wild Apples and your launch party and the concerts in the Common, the one thing that was in your mind saying, you know, we really need to get to this. This is something that would really help us out, right? Just write that down. And if you can think of a couple action items,
Logo.
see, there you go, right? So you already got one. Josh is already there, right?
What about a
um,
facility to hold
Well, it's
shows
in
at?
process
Keeps
right
us
now.
accountable.
I'm sorry, what?
A facility to hold shows at, like we were thinking
Yeah,
of Grange,
so-
I think that's a good
An
objective.
arts center is what we need. We need an arts center.
How much
That may
is
be
the
more than 1 year.
objective?
Well, I know that.
So
I realize that.
Are we only putting new objectives on there? Like you said, that one thing in the back of our minds that we want to get to. But there are about 10 things we're already doing, and we only meet once a month.
Hey,
Right.
thank
So
you.
I know
I know
you're-
you're really commitment.
what's to
Thank you.
keep us from putting those 10 on there? Are they only for new, or should we be thinking about bucketing those 10 in a much more like public art as opposed to Arts Cafe and Art in Action? It becomes one.
No,
'Cause
whatever you guys
I'd like
want
to
to
see
do.
what
yeah.
we're already
It's up to
working
us.
Yeah.
on there too,
Yes,
as
Yeah,
opposed to
absolutely.
just some, that one new thing.
Right.
especially seeing we're new, I think, I'm guessing that most people in Swindon don't have any idea about what you're doing. There are a lot of people that do, but there are probably a whole lot that don't. So this is a way to be able to highlight that, and quite frankly, then you can show this, you got some successes too on some of those.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, outside of the concerts on the Common, which I think most, I mean, unless they live under a rock in Londonderry,
Sure.
they know that those are going on every summer.
I mean, there's a lot of stone
Oh,
walls,
you haven't
right?
met
A
our-
lot of stone walls.
A lot of stone walls. I mean, there's a lot of rocks in our town.
Greg, we have neighbors that are under those rocks.
But
And rightly so.
we're gonna have 1,000 new people at the Villages at Technology Hill by July, 1,000 new people living in this town. So, you know, this is an opportunity for those folks to see hey, look what's going on in our community, these are the things that they're doing. And this will be done by then. So they'll be able to look at this and say, oh, they have concerts, I'd like to find out more about that, and that's important to me or not, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And the one thing I would say is don't put anything on there that you intend to wrap up that you tend to completely wrap up in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
So if it's gonna be done by fiscal year, by July, and you already know that, then
Yeah.
that's maybe not on there.
Well, we have a number of things that we do that are yearly, and some of the things we're doing are actually quarterly. The connection we made at the senior center is something that happens 4 times a year. The next one is next month on the 15th. So that's just something that's just going to continue on unless Alona and I just decide we can't do it anymore, which I don't see that happening anytime soon. So it's something that I kind of spearhead. Everyone in the group pretty much spearheads something. You know, everybody's looking at Tasha when they talk about Wild Apples. That's her baby. I mean, that was her idea. She came up with it. We all thought it was a great idea, and we did everything we could as a committee to help make that happen. And I thought it was a huge success.
Yeah, it's on my desk.
Thank you.
I think it is. It's a huge success, and it's the newest thing that we as a committee have been doing. Concerts on the Common, is this 25 now, Steve?
24.
24.
Right.
24 years we've been doing it. It must be a really big rock, Larry.
So Larry, I think your question was timing.
Yeah.
We only meet once a month.
Yep.
So I think that it's a tall ask. We have a full agenda today, and this feels like a full agenda item.
Yeah.
But I think we can do it. I just think what we have to do is probably do it as a working group who brings together everything as a draft, and then meets with the individuals that are responsible for that program.
Right.
So to make it even easier for you on that, my suggestion would be to come to February with kind of just broad ideas of objectives, right? Just a broad objective, and like you each don't need to have 10. In fact, please don't. Like, yeah, if you each came with like one objective that you really thought was important for you guys to work on to the next meeting, we can throw them on a piece of paper, see if you know, maybe somebody's way out in left field and everybody else is like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do that one right now. But everybody looks and goes, oh wow, these are, you know, so out of those 9 that you bring, you guys are really all in on the concept of 5. We can talk a little bit about breaking out action items. And then I can do what I did, which is take it back to Sean, chat with him about it for 10 minutes. We come back, we organize them, I pitch some stuff to you, you refine it, and then that's what we do in March.
And this is the first one, so you don't have to
Yeah.
have 10 things, you can have 2 things.
Yeah,
you can have
exactly.
3 things.
Yeah, like this is the assessing department with 3 full-time people and a contract thing that touches every property in town. You saw they only have 3, right? They have 3 on there. There are 3 that are very important to them. And honestly, most of those are tied to things they're currently working on or doing. They want to make it better. They want to really dial down that service aspect. They're a young department. Everybody's just kind of gotten one level promoted up, and they're bringing in a new person. So it's really dialing down those systems. You guys are different. Like maybe it's wild apples. I don't know. Maybe your thing is you want to get into the schools. You want to have like one in the middle school. You want to have like try and encourage getting a middle school to use it in their classroom. That might be something. You know, it can be literally anything you're already working on that you think would be really instrumental to make it for that's important for Londonderry and its citizens. And you guys have your finger on that vibe. So, yeah, like literally, it's what I'd be asking for next meeting is like one sentence of an objective.
Yeah,
That
it's the
you wanna-
stuff you're already
yeah.
doing. We don't have to create all kinds, we don't have to make things up.
Yep.
There's plenty of things that you're already trying to accomplish. You're gonna be able to communicate this to everybody else in the town, especially town council. This is what we're doing.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it really should not be that complex. We don't need to make things up.
Yeah, and like if I go to some of the ones that like, I will say in like 80% of these, one of the goals is to communicate better, right? Most of what we say is like budget committee, you're talking to them. They have like 3, right? And most of them are about communicating, okay? You guys actually y'all communicate real well. So you're not gonna necessarily fall into that bucket as much, which is why like, and we don't have as many arts organizations that we're partnering with. So you're gonna have an outsized impact on that section, and that's okay. But yeah, so really what I'm just looking for is one thing that you think it would be really important for you to accomplish that year. Does that sound like a reasonable thing? I don't want you guys to fill out this whole thing or anything
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
my hang up is you're saying one thing, but we're talking about promoting our board, our committee
Mhm.
to an entire community. So one thing on there, to Sean's point about all the goodness we do.
Oh yeah, I'm saying
So-
bring one thing per person
Yeah,
and
per
we'll pull them all together.
And we can come up with like 3 to 5 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still feel like we're
Yeah.
reinventing the wheel. We're already doing a lot.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think the one thing could fall within the things we're already doing.
And
Yeah.
maybe
Right.
that's,
So,
yep,
Right.
and it
Yeah.
should fall within, honestly, you guys
Yeah.
are doing a lot. It doesn't have to be something brand new. And in fact, I was picking the public art thing and kind of throwing that out there because that was brand new. So I wasn't kind of
We're just
stepping
gonna
on
measure
it.
it now.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
gonna measure it,
Show
yeah.
that
right,
where-
so we
where our
do in
progress
fact
is.
have to have everything we do because we wanna measure.
Yeah, yeah.
But as far as an
Just kinda
objective
get
stuff, I
credit
mean, there's
for it.
already members of the committee working on an outreach thing for the school department.
Yeah,
And I think that's something we could definitely put into an objective format where it's not flushed out yet, but we've got a year to work on
Yeah.
how we're gonna approach it, who's gonna spearhead it within the committee, and that's something
Right.
that you could list out.
Develop
Or that
plan.
becomes an action item
Yeah, develop
within a
plan.
bigger
Right.
objective.
Right,
Assess and develop a plan
Yep.
for
Right.
the schools. And
yeah,
that-
that's a
and
good,
that's just one new thing, the rest of it is just gonna continue to go on
yeah,
Right.
unless we determine as a group that a certain thing that we're doing isn't working. We're spending a lot of time and effort on it, and we're not, there's no impact, or little impact on the town.
It quite simply could be publish wild apples twice a year. That you're.
Really?
I'm not struggling
Once
for
again.
ideas.
You're welcome to, but you have 10
It's not going to be,
That's what I was gonna
it could
bring,
be.
I was gonna
That's
say,
what I
in
see.
FY
I see that
'27, we'll
has to
publish
be
the
done.
third
There you
edition
go,
of that.
that's
There.
perfect, that's perfect, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems
by
important.
Q3,
I
what are we
do.
gonna
Yeah,
do
they-
about it?
Absolutely, I do
So,
see.
so it's less
Yeah.
about
To
coming up with
KPIs many
ideas, it's, you're asking us for KPIs.
Yep.
And we have to put all of our all of the things we do up there.
No, you don't have to put all of
Because
them up there, so this
you
is,
don't want them-
here's the difference.
So you don't want them there, so that's where I'm hearing,
So
we should
Stephanie-
put them there, we
Yeah.
shouldn't put them there.
What you're thinking of, so this is the town, if this was a strategic plan for the Arts Council,
Okay.
you would want every single thing in there,
Exactly.
Gotcha.
absolutely.
Okay.
This is the strategic thing, this is where you think the town needs to go, okay? So this is where you
So
think
the
the
one thing
town,
we're asking of the town,
yep, exactly, develop
but we're
strong,
gonna end up executing on it.
not by yourself, no.
Okay.
This
With-
is,
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
like we said when we talked about facility use, right? If finding facilities is constantly a little bit of a challenge for you guys,
That's-
maybe that's the objective that you put there, and like I said at the beginning, we have other people who are doing that,
Okay.
so we'll come up with, if we see 3 or 4 different groups saying, yeah, facilities is a huge issue,
Yeah.
then we're gonna make an objective for that, and we'll work with you and rec and the schools and the churches on this, cause maybe there's churches in the community that are like, oh my gosh, come use our space, this is great.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll do.
That's where my hang up
Yeah.
is, cause I'm,
Yep,
you
so
know,
that's, I like,
when we do an action, like a strategic plan in business, it was,
because that's for
Yeah.
the whole business, so
Yeah.
we're doing the whole town, and just think about it like,
so are we just,
you're
one
the-
thing we wanna see.
one thing that you personally think is really something that, and when you're doing it, you know, think kind of broadly about the town, right? Like, what does it need, what has impact on the residents?
Mm.
Like you said, if finding facilities, if partnering with the schools, if publishing this magazine and if you had something about concerts on the common right there, like sponsorships or anything, like expand, you know, the partnerships within the community. I don't know, I'm throwing
So
names.
what they have
Yeah,
is,
we
they
don't have
have
any-
departments
Yeah.
that have business plans up there, some
Yeah.
of the departments have business plans, and you got all of that. Well, not all of that goes in the strategic plan, there are
Gotcha.
certain key objectives we wanna accomplish town-wide, those get put in there. Fire department has a business plan, so does the police department, and you would have, you know, if you had the time, you'd develop a business plan for the arts. And it would have all the things that you do, and you have your own KPIs and those sorts of things. But we gotta crawl before we can walk and run.
Yep.
We've got one that's pretty close, because we
Well, yeah.
state grant,
Not surprised.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're pretty close.
You, and like
Well,
I said.
and
you guys
every
are
year,
ahead.
there's a thing a presentation that Larry puts together for the town.
Mhm.
So that they know what we've done and, you know,
Yeah.
so, I mean,
Mhm.
that's, a lot of that's pretty
Yeah.
transferable.
Well, I think we should focus on the programming that we're doing.
Mhm.
But every week or every month, we talk about aspirations that we have, you know, that are bigger picture items, and I think we should probably think about that as well. You know, the work you guys are doing to outreach work you're doing with the schools, you know, so I think
That's
from an
perfect for this.
aspirational standpoint, we can maybe think about where would we like to be a year from now, and how do we take steps in that direction, so, and it doesn't need to be that detailed or robust,
Mhm.
it really can be, you know, this is where we'd like to move, and here are the steps we need to take in the
Yeah.
short term to get there.
And when we come back to it 3 years from now, this is gonna be second nature, you're gonna be begging us to come in and be like, all right, come on, let's go, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, cause updating is easy,
Yeah.
cause you're doing your status updates, and if you're gonna add something to subtract something, it's usually pretty easy after that.
Yeah, this is definitely not meant to be something that there's going to be punitive consequences for, it's really to make everything transparent. So everybody in the community knows what we're working towards and they have the opportunity to see it. And yeah, like I said, down the road, if you wanna do a strategic plan for you guys, awesome, but we wanna know what really, think about those broader connections. And I think that's where you're gonna land. So what'll happen, is that okay? Does that make more sense, a little bit easier to do in a month?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Alright, so I'll come back in February, we won't make Sean come back that night, he has a lot of work to do that week. Oh, you're gonna be leaving the next day, yeah, he can't come back, he's gonna be on a boat the next day. So you're stuck with me, and then we'll come back again in March, just to make sure, once I get your feedback, I'll kind of flesh it out, organize it, and then we'll come back in March. Again, I want as much of your input as possible, but this is the first time, we don't wanna make you do all the lifting yourself, so.
You're gonna be on a boat in February? Not here.
I'll let it be,
I've been on boats for most of my life, and you wouldn't get me on a boat in February around
maybe a
here.
Gulf around Venezuela right there, that's where I wanna be.
Uh-huh.
On a cruise ship, but not trying military ship.
Not anymore, right?
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much, guys, I appreciate it, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Let's spread out.
Yes.
Kirsten, did you bring these, or?
Those are
We're
the, those are
being
the mics for
recorded.
recording.
Yeah, yeah.
You can just leave them on the table.
Okay.
So don't do anything with them, they'll clean them up, close the door, they'll clean them up for,
Thank you.
Sometimes we're recorded, sometimes we're not.
So those two were not on the same page with what they're looking for. Those two do not appear to be on the same page. with
So
what they're
Elaine, are you
looking
joining us? Are you
Was
are
that
you
me?
actually gonna?
I'm just
for. She kept
nosy.
saying that.
I'm just being nosy for a
One
while.
thing per.
No, that's fine. I
It
just-
just says like a first
Because
step.
you moved to
to
Hudson, didn't you?
organizing this.
You're in Hudson, right?
Yeah.
Alright, sorry.
I think once we start putting it to paper, they'll make.
I've done 100 of these.
Yeah, I know your project, I was like, hey, we have a project
I wasn't
manager
struggling
here.
with, I was trying to figure out what they were looking for.
Yeah.
Cindy and I were talking,
Well-
we've done hundreds of them.
Oh,
I'll remind everybody that we are being recorded.
Yeah.
But I look at this as an opportunity to increase our visibility and to stimulate some more investment in what we're doing
Yeah.
and support from the town, so I think it's a good opportunity
Yeah,
for us.
for sure.
I love the idea if we could get on that rail trail and have some opportunity to have some public art, that
Yeah.
would be wonderful.
That's a great idea, yeah. Public arts, great.
All right, let's see, it's almost 8 o'clock. Let me make an adjustment to my hearing aids. So we do have an agenda for this evening. The first item of business is to determine the officers moving forward for the next year. And I'd asked each of you, if anybody was interested in taking on one of these positions, to let me know. And I didn't hear from anybody, so. And fortunately, Steph and Steve are willing to continue on in their
I can't give
roles.
up the paycheck, so, yeah.
And I keep hoping,
Why do I
for-
feel like
I
our
keep hoping
hours
for a coup
moving
d'etat,
on
but
just
that's
went.
not gonna happen. So anyway, we do need to have a vote, so let's make it simple. The three of us are willing to continue on our role, me as chair, Steph as vice chair, and acting treasurer, Stephen as secretary. I need one of you to make a motion, one of the voting members to make a motion to vote on that.
All right, I make a motion to vote on the proposed candidates.
Second.
You second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
No. Just you.
Acceptance speech for each of you.
All right, we'll send the keys, we'll send you the keys for the shackles later on so you can unlock yourselves, but.
I don't know what politician said this, but it went like this. If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve. Forget who that was. Anyway. All right. Let's just kind of go through the program updates as quickly as we can. Not that I'm rushing us, but we have a lot of ground to cover. So, the youth art contest. My
Oh
goodness.
my God. I'm getting so much email from that thing, my
They
God.
just keep
I
going.
think
Yeah,
it's
I-
because
when
I
does it
did that,
end?
the ninth, tomorrow.
Oh, okay, I thought it had already ended, and
I
thought, man.
think that it was because I took it to Manchester School District and they put it out to all their schools, because a lot of the ones that got back were from Manchester. And so I'm a little worried about maybe doing it for other schools, because we might be really inundated. We have like 60, and I think there was
60?
4 more.
No kidding.
At least
Wow.
3 have come in since we've been sitting here.
Yeah.
so.
Really?
I think that's wonderful.
Do you need any help with the volume Like, do you need a third hand to help you sort, or
I'm thinking about it right now.
because
and-
sometimes it's overwhelming just being
Yeah.
on the email receipt of that. So
Yeah, and some
so
people are
it's just me
sending
checking in with you guys to
like
see.
multiple emails and things.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely need someone to help me kind of proofread, like not proofread, but like look
In-
through all of the entries and make sure that I did not miss anyone.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that too, because I do the same thing, and it's like, did I spell the name right? Because sometimes the handwriting is
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, so I'm also planning on reaching out to get some of those names because I cannot read the applications on
Yeah.
some of them. So
So are they on a
Anything I can do,
spreadsheet?
I'd be happy to
So
help too.
are you
I
spreadsheeting
put it,
inventory?
she and I both keep our own
inventoried and
spreadsheets.
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a Google Doc
Okay.
spreadsheet.
So you're gonna help
That I
them.
can share.
I'm
that
happy
or
to
do-
help any way I can, just let me know.
Yeah, which
We've got a meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
yeah.
So if you find you need another hand to help sort, just raise your hand, because historically you've gotten in the 20s, 30s, and
Yeah,
now you've gotten 60.
yeah,
So it's a
Triple.
pretty
yeah.
big number. Congratulations, you two.
Yeah,
Really,
it's fabulous.
It's really good.
And so tomorrow, Cindy, Kit and I are meeting at the library about the, reception that we're having for the winners. It's a good thing we decided not to have everybody.
You have good insights.
And so we'll be going over some more details of the reception area. We have an agenda for that, and we'll probably be buttoning that up and figuring out, you know, what we're going to the library to see what the space is and how we want to decorate it, how we want to display stuff.
Okay.
So that's about it for the.
Well,
Good.
one more thing, if I could add, we're gonna talk about, how we can take the people that don't win and keep them interested in art. And throw out maybe some ideas on
Yeah,
that.
that's what we were gonna discuss tomorrow.
Good.
Yeah.
And we're still planning to publish the winners in Wild Apples, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a release that they've already given or will give?
We don't have.
I don't know,
I
I usually
haven't-
do some kind of release or something.
Yeah, I
don't we?
haven't followed up with Dasha, or sorry, with Paige, because the line that we have on the application for like your, like you kind of give us the right to use it for Arts Council related stuff, meant to be to cover the website, but also technically might apply to the book. But Paige was gonna kind of look that over from like a legal advice perspective and let us know.
Okay, cause if I need to send them the full publication agreement, just let me know.
Okay.
If there is a party, maybe there's a way to get them to just sign a release at the party.
That's a good idea.
If they're already gonna be there
Yeah.
with the parents, and just keep it really easy, so. If Paige says that we need a separate form with the signature, we can plan to I can plan to send you guys something for the party if I'm not gonna be there or whatever. Are the parents aware of the Wild Apples piece of it, or not quite?
Not at this
No.
point. We have very
Okay.
little communication with
Okay.
like the entrance,
Okay,
and then yeah, when the winners are selected, we'll have more communication with,
Okay.
and that's when we send the library form and all that stuff.
And it's not mandatory either. you
Yeah.
know,
It's
if
not
they-
mandatory
If they don't
to
wanna
participate.
publish, they don't
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
publish,
Exactly.
so.
so, okay, so you're sending them an email to let them know they've won, and it includes the library form. Is there a way can we just modify that form or something to
The
be
library-
inclusive of Wild Apples?
Yeah, the library form belongs to the library. It's the release that they require. It's, I think, the same one that people, when we're doing the general library thing. But I can also include the information, in that same email.
Yeah.
So that goes out
so-
January 31st, so,
Okay, if you want, I can send you a little blurb
okay.
to include, and maybe it can just be something if you don't want your child's work to appear in Wild Apples, please let me know by replying to this email or something.
Yeah, to make it like a very specific action item of
Yeah.
like answer.
Just wanna make sure we get all the permissions covered, and the parents aren't caught off guard, what's my name, kid's name and photo in this, or their drawing or whatever is in this issue. So I'll send you something.
Okay, good job, guys. Wild apples?
Oh boy. Okay,
You want me to
so-
skip over you and come back?
No, it's okay. Get it over with. Yeah, lots of people submitted, which is awesome. I have so far 38 pieces that have been accepted from probably like 20 authors. I would say about a third of them are repeat contributors from last year, but we have a few new ones. Good mix of stuff again, poetry, illustration, fiction, photos, comics, all kinds of stuff. And I'm just working to get all the acceptances in and the publication agreements back, and then we'll start the design process for that.
Are you okay with the number of artists you have?
Yeah, I think it's plenty.
I have one more that I've been working on over Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner.
Susan?
Yeah, and she, I don't know, I'll ping her one more time, but
Yeah.
she used to be a member of the Arts Council.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah, no pressure, but I can certainly make room.
right.
And then, yep, that's it. And then we'll have to plan the party, but we can start thinking about that next
Yep.
month. I won't be here next month, so maybe the month after.
Okay.
Did you
Greg,
see, we got,
I'm sorry.
I just want to quickly ask, did you see the request for a wild apples? It came in this week, about, within the past week or so?
No, where'd it come in from?
Oh, okay, so I'll forward it to you. I didn't know, I'll have to look at where it came from the website.
Oh, so it was a purchase?
It was actually a purchase, someone purchased it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we have to figure out how to get notifications.
Yeah, cause
about that.
I thought you got them, but obviously you
I
don't, so.
don't get them, yeah,
I
because the
will-
website's
I will
linked.
forward it to you.
Okay, I'll log in right now and look at it.
I think it was a local person,
Great,
I think.
so I can get the copy to them.
I think so.
Too bad. Yeah, let me, I will, let's see, okay, I see it, I see the $20 revenue.
Oh, good, okay.
It's Phyllis, Phyllis was a contributor last year, I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know why she didn't get the contributor rate, but I will get that, to her as soon as possible.
Okay,
Thank
super.
you for letting
Sure,
me know.
yeah. So,
Did she put an
just to
address
follow up,
information?
is there something I need to change or anything we need to change
I don't know.
for you? Cause I get an email, so,
Yeah, cause Squarespace is linked to your
yeah.
email account.
Alright, well, I know to forward it to you now for sure, but, maybe I
Yeah,
can
let me
look at-
play around with the settings.
Yeah, maybe you
there's-
can put in 2 emails or,
Probably.
I don't know, I think we should have at least 2 people get it, honestly.
Yeah,
Whoever it is.
yeah, exactly.
And I feel like I should know this. Did that go into the town PayPal?
So, I believe, yeah, did they pay with
Or is it-
PayPal?
So let's see.
They have to, right?
They paid with, no, but they paid with their credit card because we set that up.
Okay, but I think that still goes to PayPal.
And where it goes, it's actually says we need to connect a checking account to receive payouts. The checking account you connect must be registered to Town of Londonderry.
I thought we
Feel
went
like we
through all
did.
that. Yeah, we did all that.
Okay, let me know when you get that done. I just want to be able to record the $20. So
Right, well, we would do a submission to the town
yeah, just
so they transfer it from the PayPal
Right,
account
just-
is where it should be.
it's a registry
Sure,
entry. But
yeah.
once you figure out where the 20 is,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we might have to get
I'm just here to
that
log.
Justin
I don't
about.
really.
I thought we did all
I
that.
thought we
stuff.
did all that too.
So,
That's a bummer.
I'm surprised it accepted it.
It's me throwing
Because it
another
wouldn't work
monkey wrench
before
in.
the,
Oh my goodness,
right?
yeah.
It didn't work
So at
until we
least it-
had
yeah.
set it up right.
At least it works.
I guess,
Yeah,
but
but
the money
now
went
it's just
somewhere.
in limbo.
Now finding out where it is and where it's
Yeah.
going.
Congratulations on selling another copy.
That's
That's
great.
outstanding
Yeah.
work, you guys.
Yes. I will email her and let her know that it's on its way. Yeah, that's it.
I owe you feedback on 2 entries.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do you feel like we want to bring that to the rest of the
I'll
group?
talk to you about it.
Probably an editorial board decision.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that works.
Okay.
Thank you.
Need to know.
All right, and senior jam is on the 15th.
On the 15th of February, weather permitting. Last year, the February one kept getting pushed back and back because we didn't get any snow until February, and then it seemed to snow almost every weekend. So it was crazy, but, you know, it's weather permitting, but yeah, we're on for the 15th. And, I've already sent out emails to a bunch of friends and make sure that they all know that it's going on. We've been really lucky in that we've had like a lot of people just sort of show up through word of mouth, and we've gotten, you know, some folks that I don't know. And they're just enjoying playing, and we have a nice crowd of folks that show up for it, and it's just a lot of fun, so. That's it.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
You don't have to be 55 to go to it.
Nope.
You could be 55 at heart.
Or you could just accompany someone who's 55 and older. That's
If you're an
perfectly
old,
fine
if you're a
too.
young person and an old soul.
There you go.
All right.
Well, maybe you're doing research for your future. You never know. I mean, we're all getting there sooner or later. I mean, some of us sooner than others.
Spotify just sent out your music age, so turns out a lot of young people were actually much, much older than they thought they were. Like 60 and 70. Like the 20-somethings are listening to.
60, 70?
Yeah, so the 20-somethings are
That's
listening
'cause
to
when the good
music
music
from
comes-
the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
So their Spotify age is actually closer to 80.
Yeah. Listen to
Well,
the
I
good
don't know,
stuff.
I totally missed the Taylor Swift reference that
Yeah.
you talked about earlier.
Oh, there was a Taylor Swift reference? Yeah, I missed it too.
I think your music age and Spotify rates should go down.
I missed it. Oops.
I did too. So.
I don't know what, I got Arts Cafe, but I don't know that we,
Yeah, I know, it's kind of at a standstill right now, cause I wanted to revamp it, I don't really like the way it was, and I wanted to have a meeting with Dash and Greg. When does your, your next edition come out? Is that in May, or?
It can be flexible, but no sooner than May.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
cause I'd really like to, right now, I'm just kinda overwhelmed, and I don't really feel like dealing with that
Sure.
right now, so.
Right,
that's fine.
fine.
That's fine.
Just,
Yeah.
you know, I would like to do it like around the time that publication comes out, we combine that with
Okay.
Yeah.
that, so.
Okay.
I'll get together with you guys and, you know, find a time that, you know,
Sounds good.
maybe in February or whatever.
Steven, concerts on the Common?
So we already have I forgot to tell you, Larry, got a gold level sponsorship in December. Somebody who had been talking to me.
Who is that from?
It's from, I had to ask, it's a,
Sorry to put you on the spot.
it's like a contractor,
Is it a new sponsor or?
is a new sponsor, yeah, and they've been
Okay.
asking me for months, all these little questions every once in a while, how do we do this, how do we do that, and it's like, oh, okay, so I send them photos,
That's good.
yeah, so that's good. So we have 3 bands that are waiting for contracts, and from talking with Kirsten just before the meeting, I think that is gonna happen now. We're waiting for the contract template to be completed from the town. And I think that we're pretty much at that point, and so I'll be able to send those out, and we'll see if they accept them or not, or what feedback we get with them. But that should streamline things quite a bit and save the town some money. That's kind of it. Now I've got to get started on fundraising, and we've had discussions and stuff, and kind of have a roadmap. I've got to start working on that.
And I did send out New Year's cards to the sponsors. Just to remind them. All right. Any other business we want to discuss? Elaine, you have any thoughts you want to share?
I'm writing down all the things that the Arts Council does, and I'm kind of like, it's a wow.
Thank you.
The council does a lot to support the arts in this community, and it's grown and sustained, which is really, really important, even though we've had so few, well, a lot of people under the rocks. But I think slowly maybe they are starting to come out, and because we've been doing it successfully for 24 years?
Yeah.
Or however
That's the
long.
thing about this council, is there's no members on the council that just like to give it advice and ideas and then don't do anything.
Yeah, we
You know,
had
there's
some
no
of
one
those
on the
at
council that
certain
that's like
points,
that.
but yeah, you're right.
Everybody gets involved,
Yeah,
and spearheads something and then helps out with something else.
yeah.
You know, it really is.
It's a
It is-
passionate thing
it's-
that you have to be, into it, whether it's just volunteer, not just volunteer, but volunteering to see a better community out of it. I lived in Amherst for 11 years. We did not have an art community, and I really, really missed that. And I realized that how important it is that, all the work that you guys have done over the years, that there's so few communities that are really supporting the arts. And most of you know me, I've always supported the arts.
Yeah.
By starting half of these programs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just very disappointed in Amherst. I thought that it would be a more affluent community
Yeah,
and
I would
support
thought,
the
I
arts.
would've thought so too.
I could have jumped in there and said,
Yeah.
hey, let me do something, but they have a library exhibit. That's about the only thing that I ever saw. Library exhibits.
Oh,
And they do a little concert thing on their common
mhm.
area that they have too in the summer months periodically. But yeah, for the most part, there wasn't really a lot there, so it was a little disappointing. I mean, I did a lot of shows outside of the area like I usually did because there was nothing in that community. Bedford as well. There used to be a lot of art events through the Manchester Art Association, which we were involved with for a lot of years. And that's where, they had a Bedford show and they did shows within the scope of Manchester area. And I don't even know where they're at with that. They're just struggling.
I always think of Bedford as the upscaled Manchester.
Well,
Because all the people that live there all own businesses or
Yeah.
do something in Manchester, but they don't want to live there, so they live in Bedford.
But the whole thing is with these communities, Bedford, Amherst, they prefer to go outside of their area for the arts. They just don't feel like they should be there because let's go to the coast and find something, or let's go to Keene or Peterborough because they're more artsy, or even Lebanon. They just come out of these communities. And that's why I think it's so important to keep it.
I'm surprised that, I thought Lebanon was older than that. Did you see the incorporation year? 1958.
Really? Oh.
Really?
That's what it says, 1958.
Wow. I
Mhm.
didn't realize
That's
that.
crazy.
That's pretty new, but yeah.
I was
So
born the
anyway.
same year as Lebanon.
Yeah, so it must have just been a town.
It must have been
Now it's-
something else,
yeah,
but
now it's a
it wasn't an
city.
incorporated town until 1958.
Wow.
I mean, what was our incorporation? Was 16 or 17 something?
1719,
1719.
for sure, 1719.
That's old.
Steph, do you wanna?
Yeah, so since we've had this conversation and invested a chunk of our meeting tonight in the one thing, how comfortable would each of you feel going around the table with your one thing? Because I'm thinking it's fresh in our minds, and if we just did a quick roundtable brainstorming on that one thing tonight, probably take 15
Everybody
minutes.
one thing?
Yeah,
One
One
thing,
thing
and we'll
for the
just,
For the, su-
And
oh,
it-
no, one thing,
From each person.
from
each
each
person,
person,
And then we can
and we can see what
all stew on
duplicity
it.
is.
see what, yeah.
We might all be thinking the same two things, and then we just have to vote on those two.
What if we did the thing where we connected a document here, we could all,
So I think she logged into the town network.
oh.
She said it wasn't
It's
quite
not as
ready for
easy.
us to be able to do
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
And if you wanna do it by secret ballot, we can do it, but.
Oh.
well, you, why don't you start?
Well, like, for example.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Alright, so the first one is,
It's down.
public space. We can't promote, I don't think we can promote the arts without the space. The second is I'd love to bring back Art on the Common. And that is kind of the public space.
Talked about that a number of times, haven't we, over the last year or so? Yeah, I'd love to bring that back too. It's
We all, I
it's
think
a
at one point or
ton of
another,
work. And you know how much work it is. It's a ton of work.
So we're
Yeah,
gonna go
marking out all the spaces
this way
the
or
night
this way?
before.
Yeah.
Go to Cindy?
And hoping it doesn't rain that night.
Oh, and it did a few times, didn't it?
Facility
It did.
review, I'll just keep-
Water.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Cindy's up with her 1 or 2.
What was your first one? I'm
My
sorry.
first one was
A public space.
getting a public space, acquiring, identifying
Public space for art.
Meaning a facility,
a facility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An arts
Does
center.
that mean like something we don't pay for events? What is public?
So
Yes.
identifying it could be, does it already exist and we've just overlooked it? Or 2,
Can we get it for
refurbishing,
free?
Or the creation of a Londonderry Arts Center.
well, or a,
Rail trail.
Yeah.
the town actually identifying a facility for committees and various groups to use.
Without having to pay for it.
Right.
The town can we identify, we inventory and identify, and then the town either maintains it or brings it forward. It's in my mind, it's a community center, which
I think it's.
we have a building,
Sitting
Just
around
sitting there.
doing nothing.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
are there other buildings that are just sitting around
Well-
that we haven't maintained over the years that could be open to public? It wouldn't just be for art. I think it's gotta be the whole community
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
because of
sure.
the price tag,
Right.
Right.
but we're part of the community.
We
and I
couldn't
think-
fill it all year round. So.
No.
Well, I would think, as far as mine's concerned, it would be the outreach to students in the schools. I would love to see that.
My turn?
Yeah.
I think same as Steph's, but also like a clarification, because I was thinking of a centralized location where people know where to find us if, like, for more common activities. Rather than like chasing us around different buildings all over the place.
Yeah, that's.
So I think that's exactly the same thing. But also I was thinking about like the performing arts,
Right.
and inviting, like, I think there's a theater group that I recently was learning about. I think they're based out of Londonderry, so I was curious to investigate them further and see if they have any interest in coordinating with us.
I think that's very important, because I noticed that, yeah, there is no theater here. It's all, Derry has a very strong theater, because they've got the Opera House.
Right, the Opera House,
They've got
and
the
then-
location,
And then they also have the Stockbridge in Derry. I mean,
Right,
if they,
right.
if they can partner with
yeah.
with
Yeah.
Pinkerton, you know, 'cause
Yeah,
that's
so
a
they-
beautiful
they
facility.
They have that. We don't have any theater here.
No.
No, we don't have any facility for it.
Right.
Paul, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Nope, I'll pass.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't wanna ignore it.
No, thank you.
Karen?
Well,
Oh, wait a minute, did I, Elaine?
Oh, I didn't know I was involved.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that the long-term goal should definitely be a facility. Again, that might be 5 years down the road for them, you know, when that's put before someone, but I think if it gets on the books and gets started as a notion first, to start getting it might take, like I said, a number of years to get that worked on, but yeah, like, for the Wild Apples event, did I hear that you had to pay for the Parmenter barn
Yeah,
to do that? That's like, really? Isn't that a town
No, it isn't.
building?
It's not a town building.
it's a
no.
stupid situation, but they decided that they were gonna be an independent nonprofit for some reason.
Okay, and what
And-
about the senior
And now they're
center?
strapped for cash, and so
Oh,
that's why they're
dear.
running the facility out.
Uh-huh.
Well, the senior center is we don't pay for the senior center
Oh,
because
okay.
that is a
And
town
that's only since
facility.
Alana's been there, cause
And
before I
Alana's
used to.
Alana's
Okay,
wonderful
okay,
about
okay.
about
Yeah,
about
she's
working
been
with
very
the
good.
arts council on
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, okay.
But yeah, but that's not. But the problem with that building, and it has nothing to do with the building.
No.
It has to do with the location.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where it is.
Yeah,
It's
I
true.
agree.
You know,
And I
it's
think
just
for
an out-of-the-way
senior
place.
center, People think it's just for oil.
Right.
It's right across the street from where we do concerts on the
Yeah,
common.
yeah.
It's got a parking lot. It's just sitting there.
Is the
It's
Grange-
just
Hold on, your
here.
turn is coming, hold on.
Yeah.
Facility,
Range not using
Well,
it?
mine is
I'm gonna go to the next.
every year, like not necessarily having one, but like this year when we're gonna host something, what are the things that are available for us to host? that are free or,
So an inventory of locations.
right.
Sounds like the same one. But yours might not be as hefty as our
No, yeah,
request for a
the
building.
public space
You
is
just
something
wanna
that's
know
gonna
where
take
we
a
can
while,
go.
but just like for this year, for doing things, you know, what
I
is
want,
there?
I wanna circle back to what, you just said something about the Grange.
Yeah.
You know, that's an independent facility, it's
It
not
is
owned by
as
the
well.
town, but they've come to the town and asked for $100,000. And I think there's gonna be a warrant article in March
Hmm.
to help them, you know, deal with their infrastructure
And that
issues.
doesn't give any points to being able to volunteer the building out
Well,
to
Not
I,
yet.
I think,
other
at the senior expo, I talked to, I forget the guy's name, but the president of the Grange, and they're in the same boat that the historical societies. I mean, they'd rent it out to us
Yeah.
for a reasonable amount of money, but it's only a 2 or 3 season facility.
Oh, it is.
They don't run the heat. They can't afford to put oil in the tank to run the heat. So it's, you know, I don't know what they do about their meetings in the wintertime.
Okay.
And they don't have like a kitchen facility.
They
and-
did upgrade the
Did they?
kitchen. Yeah, and they
They- okay.
upgraded the bathroom.
And the
Yeah.
bathrooms too,
Yeah.
is upgraded?
But that,
Oh,
I
that's
had,
good.
that, I actually thought of that.
Why
when
are we
we're-
giving them money then?
Well, that, I don't, that,
For the
I think
lights.
you're gonna have a vote on that. What I said was they've approached the town asking for $100,000 to help bail them out of their financial situation.
Breathe.
Yeah, breathe.
I think it comes back to public buildings that maybe haven't been in focus over the years and are now not usable or not in a condition
Well, I
Yeah.
think there needs
for
to
their
be
original intention.
give and take and.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree too. If we're helping them, they
Yeah.
should be helping the community.
So Steve, you're up.
Absolutely.
Just a facility
nice,
for
huh?
arts.
Sorry.
I already gave mine, you know, you know what it is.
You got him with so
You
far
know
as
you
to
do,
give us an
you know what it
address.
is.
You've given us
But the
an
school outreach would be my second one too. I think that that's something that is, would be a positive direction for the council to move in, especially when you wanna talk about increasing our visibility, you know, involving the students, you know, and the school. And letting them know that whatever walls they think are up there, you know, they're not real.
Right.
There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to work together and communicate freely
Yeah.
amongst those groups, and the school department and the arts council.
Yeah.
Involve the student,
Collaboration.
involve the parent.
Yeah,
Collaboration.
absolutely.
Dasha. You've been
Keeping
sitting
mine
so
simple,
patiently.
yeah, just in FY 27, publish the third edition of Wild Apples and host a lunch party.
Larry.
I'm just a facilitator.
All right.
I could add another one, which like is sort of a challenge to us, is to finally come up with a logo. And I don't know if we wanna
Actually,
commit to that, but
I had an idea not too long ago. If somebody can get the Town of Londonderry website on a computer,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask,
Can I see that? I bet I can't get past that.
I know you've been working on a logo.
Stalled on it.
Pardon me?
I actually don't think I ever sent
Oh,
you
it's
one
quick,
I had, but I have
it's
stalled
Houston's,
on, like,
okay.
plateaued.
yeah, we're not
How
gonna
about if
log
we go to
in.
other users?
Anyway, if you guys can see the apple with Londonderry, where it says New Hampshire
Oh, yeah.
underneath.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask if we can stick Arts Council underneath that, where it says New Hampshire.
Just say Londonderry Arts Council,
Yeah, and just,
use the same logo.
We
that's
could,
a thought.
yeah, we could even ask if if that's something that there would allow some adjustments to, we could use the Concerts on the Common colors to spice up the apple a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, make it a little bit different from the town, so it's
Yeah,
not just.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
think that they would want it different. We could make a green apple,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
something like that. for
Anyway, that was just a thought I
Concord
had.
Council.
That's a very good idea.
Mm.
The library has a nice logo too that they've redone.
Do they?
Yeah.
I thought we had a couple of mock-up of some designs that we were looking at last time. Just send them to us. Send them to me. Let me look at them.
Okay.
Because you have the program, I think. You might have a program.
Photoshop and Illustrator, I can do some stuff, and I just didn't think it was a priority. If you guys want me to work on it, I'll work on it.
Yes, we'd like you
Yeah,
to work on
I think we
it.
really should have one.
Yeah, we'd like it to be a priority.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we'd like to have it done by June of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause then we could do the.
Let's just get a
the
deadline.
Bags and stuff and
Yeah.
really get more recognition, I think, if we have, you gotta have a logo, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep
Brandon.
So we had a lot of ideas, and I think I've already forgotten like what mine was, so maybe we'll catalog them and send them out before the next meeting, and then we'll.
all
discuss
discuss
it.
it.
I also have.
Okay,
Sure.
so,
Sure.
yes,
It'll be in
so,
they'll be in the minutes.
so be prepared to, be prepared to spend maybe 10 minutes in the next meeting. We'll either just do a straight vote, or we'll maybe spend a little time selling the virtues of each point, but the goal will be to come to one, if everybody feels comfortable with that.
But if the criteria of that is something that's attainable, then clearly the space is like reaching for pie in the sky.
But it looks like we only have
Especially in this town.
3.
Yeah, well, I think that's the pie in the sky. The school outreach, I think, is
Is
more of
doable.
a, is an action item
Yeah.
within our own agenda, whereas
Right.
if they're looking for a strategic plan for
So
the
my
town.
question is,
it's the
what
pie
would
in
we
the
be
sky.
deciding? Are we deciding on an item that we know we can do? Or an
No,
item that we really know we want, whether or not we can do it is a different story.
that's it right there. We're gonna present it for the town's strategic plan.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. I mean, if they don't hear that people want it,
Yeah.
you know, then it's not gonna happen at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, it's, well, the only thing is it's sitting there. We gotta do something with it. It's either we
Right.
fix it or we tear it down.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and
yeah.
we're at that point, so I think we need to squeak and say, we want it.
Yeah,
We don't wanna tear it down.
Well, that's gonna be on the ballot in March
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I think the number is $900,000.
Is that all?
No, they're just Band-Aid.
Yeah, that's just,
It's a Band-Aid solution.
Well, I thought we would be looking at more like 1 or 2 mil.
yeah.
It
What we
is.
It
need to
is.
do to that building.
That
It
was
is.
the high, yeah, that was the high water mark. It's available on the website
It's
if
a
anybody
million-
wants to
It's $1.5
see
million to $2 million.
the plan.
Can't we just disguise it as another field or some sports thing? And just say, yeah, we're gonna build a sports center there, and then just let them approve the
Like
money
put a-
and we'll do what we wanna
Put
do.
a dome over it that looks like a
Yeah.
soccer ball.
Yeah. Couple of crossed hockey sticks over the door, you know, make them think it's some kind of a sports thing.
So
I
on
get
that
it.
note, be prepared to, I think we should just vote. You guys comfortable next time just voting for the one we wanna move forward as our objective?
So you think we want to have 1?
Yeah, so
No,
I'm
I
missing,
think-
I don't know why
because
we're.
we've-
Well, I think the
Why not
one is
3
to
to
give
5?
back to them as an objective. I think the other one, the rest of them,
But don't we want,
We
didn't
can
she say
fold
we
in.
wanted that in there so that the
Yeah.
community knew what we were
Well, we
doing?
I think we want a
So,
handful.
yeah, I think we
Like, I-
want
Yeah.
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than, we
That's
want
what I
that
heard
big
from
one
Sean,
for
but
the
from
town to get us
Kirsten, I
to
heard
fill
one.
it.
So you want
You're right, you're
Well,
hearing
she did
2
say
different
one
things.
because she
Yeah.
doesn't realize how, you know, active this group
Yeah.
is.
Right.
One's
Yeah.
just not gonna cut it for
Well,
us.
because I think the others, a lot on that list, I think we can do, we can tell the town we're doing it, but I think they're accomplishable within our own resources.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like what we wanted to give her, Kirsten, was the one, like, that we wanna move, it's aspirational,
Yes.
we wanna move toward it, we wanna be able to show KPIs that we're moving toward it.
Mhm.
But I think we
You didn't
can,
get that same message.
I think we can get KPIs and build on it too with the outreach to the students, as well.
So you guys wanna give her 3, 4?
Yeah.
You wanna give her all the ones we
There's-
came up with?
Well, let's have that discussion at the
Yeah,
next
like,
meeting and
what's the
decide at that
priority?
point
And if that's kinda
what
what
we
I'm
wanna
touching
present
on
and
it.
how many we wanna present in
Yeah.
terms of.
And
Alright,
Yeah,
I'm drawing a blank now, but I'm sure on my ride home, I'll come up with an idea on my own. But why don't we just plan next week, or next month to,
Yeah. she'll be
To
here.
start
we
with
can,
this.
Yeah, discuss. what
just
it
give her
is.
that list we came up with.
and if you have stuff to add,
Okay.
let's circulate it via email in the meantime.
You could always show them what we
Yeah.
got and say, do you want 1 or want 4?
Yeah.
3?
Alright,
Well, don't lose sight of the fact that we're putting a stake in the ground around things that we need in the short term as well. So, Stephen, I think about in fact, Elaine, you were involved in this, Greg, you were involved in this. When the bandstand fell into disrepair, there was the arts counselor that got the thing painted and spruced up.
People think it's looked like that for like 40 years.
Yeah.
It didn't, it hasn't.
So
There's been a lot of work done to that
I'm
place.
sure you're gonna
Yeah.
have things,
Yeah, as one of
But
them,
in
it's
that
just, we
public
need to
space,
paint
you've it got your
again.
art on the common too.
So that-
Put that in
Yeah,
There you
that'd
go.
that'd be
Well,
one,
Should
yeah.
be really
And
cool.
also the immediate facility, because I don't know all the things in town,
And
the
that's what
town
you
might
do.
know, and like they said, other people
Yeah.
involved.
No, I think
Some-
that's
Somebody else in another
relationship
committee
with
might say,
the
oh, this
schools
building,
that
you
we
know.
don't
Yeah,
No, I think
that's
that's
what we
important.
need to find
I
out.
don't think
Yeah.
so about-
yeah, I mean, the
There's
long
just a
term,
database of places where you could
Everything
approach
about
and
the
say, hey, I'd
building.
like to do something.
yeah,
You've got a space, like for example, the new movie
And I
theater,
think
I
we
guess
can
has some,
execute
yeah, I'm trying to,
some kind of function space within it.
Tell us
Really?
whether or not.
Yeah, they've completely revamped that place.
But
It
is-
does-
is
You
it
wouldn't
still a theater?
recognize it.
Is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
I thought they were
Yeah,
alive.
It's an O'Neill's Theater
Did they
again.
relationship
tear it
between
down?
schools?
No.
No,
No.
they just redid the whole
They
thing.
Okay.
completely
They just
refurbished it,
let
yeah.
out the
Right,
ground.
right,
It was
alright.
awful.
Well,
Us
that's
and
a
them.
possibility there too, I guess.
So I think we might be
But
able
it
to
sounds like
help with
everything that we
piece
do
of it.
here,
I
that you
could be
guys
wrong.
do, is location based, and like one of you said, it's terrible that we have to do it here, there, and they're chasing us all the time,
Right.
trying to find these things, other than Constance on the Common, that's the one that they know where it is. But so many of these other things, they have to find the Londonderry Arts Council, where are they today?
And if
I
it's
think
right
it's
across the street from the bandstand,
I can think in
with the parking facility,
funding for
That would be
it's fine, but
McFly,
Get on the 5-year plan for
Sorry,
that
I
one
can't-
at least.
I can't process.
in the
more.
long term, we're asking them to, get funding to get a building, but in the short term,
You're
like the Arts
exactly
Cafe, I don't wanna charge the artist, and especially if we're gonna revamp it, to pay for the facility. I want something that's free, that somebody's willing to say, yes, we'll let you use this space for free.
At the same time, I think it's worth putting some funding, if we have it available,
Yeah.
into the space that we want, that has like the best impact. Like the barn experience, I think is better than the library basement room
Yeah.
experience.
Oh,
for
I
that
love
kind of
the
art,
barn.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
I
not
would-
like it was that, if we have the funding available and if we all, consent to use it like that, why not do it?
Sure.
So it's like the free part is really, really, really nice, but I don't wanna limit ourselves to that.
Well, I guess if we have the funding in there, but that,
Yeah.
I've always done the Arts Cafe, and that's how we got money for it, was you
Yeah.
charge the artist.
But
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think you have a valid
I
point,
just-
and
Yeah,
I don't think
the
that's
town
right.
needs to support us
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
funding to
Right.
do that.
Yes.
right,
right.
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 So,
And the
Right.
cost was for the barn, like what, $100, it wasn't,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
It was the,
Yeah.
it was the principle of it.
And, and it's
the
such
experience
such
better.
an amazing place. I mean, you just go in and it's so cool
Yeah.
and cozy and
Wasn't there
country and
standing room only though? There wasn't
Yeah,
even
that-
enough room for seating for the whole
So
thing.
yeah, so we,
Yeah.
we
We
need to
really
kind
need
of
something
reevaluate.
sort of big if
yeah.
we're gonna do,
When you
we
put
wanna
everybody,
get
you
a lot
start
of people.
opening it up more.
You need
Yeah.
something that holds a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to connect with Dan O'Neill from O'Neill Cinemas and learn more about this community room and see what we
Yeah,
can
that's
leverage
a
from
good
that
idea.
standpoint, but I've started to do that, but haven't gotten much
well,
traction yet.
it's not out in the boonies, but
No, it's not. At least it is a little bit more centralized.
people, if you just say the O'Neill Cinema, I think most people,
Right.
unless of course they're those living under that rock. Most of them know where that theater is.
And they have a big
I'm gonna
parking lot, a
change
nice
the
big
subject
parking lot.
again, if I may. I did witness some public art the other day, and if anybody's driving up Michael's Way, on your right side, by that retention pond,
North, you mean?
if you're heading from Pillsbury going Michael's Way
Oh, south, okay.
toward Market
Yeah,
Basket,
okay.
if you look over to the retention pond, and you may have seen this, somebody has built a very primitive style reindeer, and it's sitting on the center island. It's so cool. I took my son back because I go around town and the strange things I find, I then pick him up and I'm like, you gotta see this. So
very
you've
cool.
seen it? It was really cool.
Yeah.
But there's no trespassing signs there, so I was like, I wonder how they did it.
In the dead of
Those are
night.
just a
suggestion. Blow it out.
So I think that's cool. So sometimes public art, you don't really have to put a lot of effort. You just
No.
have to look for it,
Yeah.
and it's there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go by my brother's house
Take a
sometime.
picture.
I do all the time. His mannequins are wild, so, but thank you for letting me share that.
Of course. All right, guys, another productive, Paul.
Just three real quick things. One, listening to the strategic plan discussion, it just occurs to me to say that with the focus on wanting to find a center for the arts in Londonderry, and given upwards of a three-year window to start to put down ideas about how to get to someplace over a 3-year period of time, based on what I heard them say, an objective could be starting to think about where you might end up at the end of 3 years from now and back that up into some actions that could be taken in year one. You wouldn't have a Center for the Arts after 3 years. It would take longer than that. But the process of investigation and maybe talking to a consultant and getting someone to work with you and all the stuff about the town that I don't know about yet could be happening over that 24 or 36 month period. So I wouldn't lose the chance to kind of put that in there and see how they react. And then two things about the Baldwin. One is that there's an art show going up on, I think it's on February 7th, but it's early, and I'll send the information to Larry to send to you. This internal to the Baldwin, but open to the public art show where we emailed the 300 residents that lived there and invited artists of all kinds, painters, photographers, sculptors, woodworkers, and so forth, to identify a piece of art that they created and submit it for consideration. And once we had what ended up being 15 or 16 pieces of art submitted, we then went back to the community and asked writers to self-identify themselves who would be interested and willing to write an essay or a poem or a short story or whatever it might be, do a piece of writing, and then the artists and the writers were randomly connected to each other.
Oh, how cool.
So if you were a writer, you might be given a photograph of an oil painting.
Okay.
And if you were a writer, you might be shown a
But
sculpture.
you don't know who you
Right.
compare
And
with. Yeah,
that's
fine.
right. And then the show, they won't know until the show opens. The art is going to be displayed at the Baldwin in the gallery with the writing next to the art. And the whole show is called Perspectives.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a nice idea. I'll send it to Larry, and if you can come by once the show is up and take a look, it might be some of interest to some of you.
Yeah.
And then the other thing about the Baldwin I wanted to say is for so many of you who were able to come 3 weeks ago or so, people found me afterwards and really were grateful for you making the time to be there. They're paying more attention now to the arts in Londonderry. I can tell that just from the conversations they have with me. I know, Dasha, at least one person from the Baldwin, maybe there's more than one that submitted pieces to Wild Apples and were.
Phyllis is from the Baldwin, right?
Phyllis De Silva,
Yeah,
right.
and she
Is
bought
that the
a
Phyllis
copy.
you spoke about? Oh,
Mhm,
very good, yeah.
Finally made the connection, yeah.
Yeah, and she was very excited about it all, so
Cool.
you guys don't get to see that in the way that I do, and I wanted to just share that with you.
That's
The investment of your time that evening is seeds planted that are really growing in the place that I live, and I want you to know that, so thanks again for coming.
We were very impressed with the facility and the people there. It was a fun evening. We enjoyed it
Yeah.
tremendously.
I'm sorry.
When is that art show?
I'll get it to late, it's in early February. It's about a month from now, and the
Okay.
show will be hung and open.
Do you
So
want
be
us
sure
to
get
post
the-
about it on our social
Oh, that'd be great,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be.
Do that.
that'd be great,
Say,
yeah.
how do we get it out? Just
Yeah.
people, yeah.
That'd be great, thank you.
Good.
Thank
All
you.
right, everybody's looking at me, must be time to go home.
So you have to propose.
Oh, yeah.
David
Oh,
and who?
Pardon me?
Steph.
Steph. I just need names.
All in favor?
Meeting ended at 8:34.